you can't go through life alone. Life is meant for you to have a partner. Life is meant for you to be with somebody. Just make sure it's that right somebody, and make sure that you're ready to be right for that right somebody. Because you can meet the right person at the wrong time, and it won't work out because you're not ready.
You are now listening to
the Really Joe podcast. Really Joe.
I got my guy Zed here today. Zed, first off, let me say I appreciate you for joining me, sitting down with me, man. And I got a serious topic, man. It's a serious topic, and hopefully you can help me or help whomever with this topic.
Okay.
So the topic today, and I'm not sure if you ran across this in your time, but man, I get tired of dudes that's scared of marriage. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, I'm sure you know, just like I do, man. I've met people that's been with women 15 years, never got married. They had kids grown, they in college. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, won't you marry that woman, man? Like, golly, you know? And actually, the second guest I ever had on the podcast, he doesn't believe in marriage. And I've even met women. Well, I know a woman. She says that she doesn't think actually getting married means anything, and that's cool. To each his own.
Mm-hmm.
We got you. First off, let me say this: congratulations.
Appreciate
it. On your new wedding. And I was like, man, Zed, you really did something most people don't do, because most dudes will tell you, if I'm gonna get married once, if it don't work, that's it.
That's it. Yeah. I was one of those dudes.
You was one of those dudes.
I was one of those dudes, Lucky. Yeah, I was one of those dudes, man. I got out of my first marriage, and I was like, nah, I ain't doing this again. So it took me. I've been divorced now, 10 years, I think, almost close to 10 years.
Yeah.
It don't feel like it, but it's been 10 years.
So look, now one thing I'm a firm believer in, especially when it comes to relationships, is getting closure from your previous relationship before you move on.
Okay.
So I know you had like a 10-year gap. Would you say that you got closure from your previous marriage before moving on?
Yeah, I got closure the day I left. That was closure for me. It was once it was over, man. Wasn't no coming back from it. And I think we tried for a very, very short time, and we were both just like, man, we just better off being friends. And that's what it was. Yeah.
Okay. So, seeing the fact I know both of you a little bit, I'm not saying like we best friends, but we go back. We
go back.
Yeah. So, I know. For those of you who may not know, they were high school sweethearts and all that, and got married and had kids. Had two boys. One looks like one parent, and the other looks like the other parent. So
yeah.
So it's kind of like the perfect story, right? But just like how you were saying, you got married closure the day you left. I heard Chris Rock say, if you look at the time that you've been married, you really been married half that time. Do you agree with that?
That's like saying you was halfway in, halfway out. I don't agree with that. Because once I really knew it was over for us was when it was probably about 3-4 months before I actually left. Once I knew it was actually over. But up until that point, I mean, nobody was planning on leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were there, y'all been a family all that time. So about how old were your kids, when that time came?
My oldest kid, I think, was, if I remember correctly, he was 10, and my youngest was 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did
Mhm.
you consider the impact of the divorce? Because you know a lot of kids they go crazy when their parents get divorced.
Yeah, I considered it, but I've never been to. I know a lot of people believe in, oh, I'ma stay and I'ma leave once my kid get grown. I'm not about that. I wasn't about that, because I wasn't about to be unhappy for another 8, 9, 10 years until they decided to be grown or whatever. But I'm not the one to. I'ma stay with her because of the kids. So I
Yeah.
wasn't. I wasn't with that now. But after I left, they acted out just a little bit,
Mhm.
but they still knew what was up. Like I still not gonna tolerate. I gave you a little slack, but I'm not gonna let you run away with it.
Right, right. So
Yeah.
so it's kind of like I guess for a little bit of time, you kind of excuse certain things
Mm,
because of the divorce maybe.
yeah, and I was mature enough to realize it's gonna be a little bit of emotional trauma on the kids. So I let them, I let them run for a little bit before I, before I had to yank them back in.
Right, right. So
Mm.
what was the moment when you was like, all right, I done had enough. I gotta put my foot down now.
Ooh, it was when I, I think it was when he came at his mama one time. Like no matter what me and her was going through, I never let my kids disrespect their mom ever. Even to this day, they know she can call me and she will call me and be like, "Yo, you need to put foot to butt." And so yeah, I never been the one to let my kids disrespect their mother, regardless of what we got going on.
Right, right. Yeah, I got
Mm.
you. So let me just ask you, seeing the fact, hey, you on your second and last time, right? Because this is gonna be forever, right?
Yeah, this is forever.
Yeah, yeah,
Ever. We ever me and the wife we done had this like this
yeah.
it.
So look, so seeing the fact you on your second and last time, I just want to know from your personal experience,
Uh-huh.
why do you think dudes don't want to marry these women, especially these black women?
Okay. Uh well, from the 10 years that I was in the pool, uh a lot of these women ain't really worth marrying, to be honest with you. Just from at least my standard of what a wife is. I can only do it from my standpoint, but a lot of women just aren't willing to do what it takes um to be marriage material. It's like far as like being, because I'm a traditional dude. I'm gonna take care of my woman. I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna do this. You know, I'm gonna take care of everything that needs that I feel like I can do good at. Me, I'm not a cooker. I'm not a cleaner. I'm not. That's not my thing. But so when I was single, I had a maid. So that's my. So that's not what I do. But my strengths are, I'm gonna take care of them. I'm gonna take care of the bills. I'm gonna take care of the yard. I'm gonna take care of this. I'm gonna take care of that. So I just need a woman to do her part and maintain the house and keep the house and do stuff like that. That's my idea. Have some morals because I wasn't always the morally correct dude. It took me a little while to get to that point. So now here we are. But
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this then, because it's gonna be a woman that's gonna hear this and be like,
oh, for sure.
"What do you mean we not worth getting married?" Like in your opinion, I'm gonna ask you a two-part question.
Uh huh.
What, what's an example of a woman who's not marriage material, and
Hmm.
then what is marriage material to you?
Just I'm gonna go from from because black women like to be stereotyped as have attitude. So I'm gonna just go from that standpoint. I've met a lot of black women with, I wouldn't call them attitudes. I would just call them they argumentative. It's never just take the idea, trust me, and go with it. You know what I'm saying? It's always a do. Now there's nothing wrong with back and forth and having your opinion, but it's the way you want to put your opinion across. It's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
the
never like
delivery
give and
of it.
take conversation. It's just no, 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 no. Du-du-du-du-du. Instead of just trusting a man to lead you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's yeah, it's too argumentative in that standpoint. Uh, Now just take my wife for instance. She trusts me. She trusts me to lead. But if she has a 2 cents to say, I'm gonna listen to her 2 cents. But it's not in an argumentative way. She'll come with her ideas, and I've ran with some of her ideas over mine. Her ideas are better than mine. I got no problem with it. But we talk instead of going at each other. If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And so it kind of sounds like what you're saying is like it's more the delivery. Like anybody could disagree, but your delivery is key.
Yes.
Okay.
The delivery is everything.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
If you go back to like those 10 years in the pool, did you ever once consider dating outside of your race, like or marrying outside of your race? Because and I'm asking this because just like how you were saying black women get stereotyped with the attitude and combative and all that, I see a lot of people run away from black women because of that.
I did date outside my race, and I'm not gonna put a name out there because it's somebody we both know. But we dated. And she was white. We dated for a couple months or so, and I mean it was fine. It just wasn't for us together. We just didn't work as a couple. But she's not the first outside of a black girl that I've dated. But I've always preferred black women, and I've married 2 of them. Most of the women I've dated are black. I prefer black women, and I've met a lot of non-confrontational black women, but I've also met a lot of confrontational black women too. So,
right. Okay, so let me ask you this, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a firm believer in everything's a learning lesson, right? Yeah. You know how you have a lot of women. Let's just say they're in a relationship 3-4 years, it don't work. Oh, you wasted 3-4 years of my life, and it's like, no, that was a learning lesson. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that comes in your life, you're supposed to learn from, and you become better, from that.
Yeah.
So I said that to say, what would you say you learned from your first marriage?
Ooh. And just being 100, that I probably wasn't ready for marriage. No, I'm not even gonna say probably. I wasn't ready for marriage when I got married. And most dudes aren't, especially because we got married at 18, right out of high school, baby and everything. And I loved her, and I still got love for her. She's the mother of my kids, but I wasn't ready because I had never really seen the world. I never really explored myself. I never really explored who I was going to be, and that's what kind of got to where we are. 18-year-old Zed and 30-year-old Zed, 2 different people. 18-year-old ex-wife, 30-year-old ex-wife, 2 different people. So instead of growing and changing together, we kind of grew and went our own separate ways, and that's kind of where we went.
Yeah, it's crazy that you say that, right? Mm-hmm. Because I just put out this episode not too long ago about your 20s is not for starting a family. It's for basically finding out who you are and building yourself up and, creating, just creating a way of living for yourself for when you turn 40. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be out here working hard,
Yeah.
And I mean, that just basically kind of confirms, that episode. Like, if you could do it all again, you probably would have waited before you started a family, right?
Yeah. I definitely. But, I'll say too, I know this is going to be hard for some people to agree with, but being 78 years old with a kid in that moment, it was hard and it was rough and it was harsh, right? But we had family and friends that helped us get through it. But now I look at it as like a blessing, because I'm 39 years old. Both my kids are in college. I'm free. I can go. Me and my wife can go travel the world and do it. And I'm 39 years old. But if I'd have, if I'd have waited till the society said it was okay for me, my kids will still be young, still in school, and I still got to work. And they hadn't progressed in life yet. But my kids are they're taking care of themselves pretty much, and I can go and do what I want to. So it was a blessing in disguise, but it felt like a struggle in the beginning.
Right.
'Cause I never called my kids a curse, but it was definitely a struggle.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You see, it's kind of crazy. Well, in my opinion, it's kind of crazy because it's not like y'all were immature individuals at like 18 and 19. So, being on the outside looking in, seeing, y'all go off, get married, have kids, nobody probably even worried about y'all being okay, right? But when you look back at it now at 39, you like, okay, I was still immature, even though you were mature at the time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's just kind of crazy to hear that,
Yeah.
like,
'Cause I had to mature fast, being where I come from, I was paying bills. I don't know, a lot of people don't even probably know this, but at 15 years old, I was paying bills. I had me and Butter, my brother, we had our own apartment. We was 15, 16-year-old kids out here, handling business because, my mom was doing what she was doing. And so we had to mature in that area fast, but maturing in emotionally and personality. Now I had a lot of growing up to do.
Right. Okay. So look, so I'm I'm gonna try to move on to the new wife, because I don't want her to feel left out at all, right? So,
Never that.
so what was it about your new wife, like when you first met her, that caught your attention?
When I first met, oh man, uh, it's always. I don't care what people say. It's always looks. Looks is the first thing that gets you. You ain't gonna know. You don't know nobody's personality from looking at them. Somebody, oh, it's your personality. No. I'm attracted to you by your looks first, and then your personality comes once I meet you. So, just it was a looks, man.
All right, got it. Hey, that's as real as it gets. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? That's as real as it gets.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you see the looks, right? Then you get to know her, right? What's the second thing that comes that you just, you just wanted more of?
Her ease. She was just easy in a sense of like compatibility. Her spirit was good. She was just everything was just when I say smooth, man, everything was just smooth. Like, and when we first met, we was purely friends. I had no intent. Like I knew she was attractive and she looked good, but I had no intentions on making her my woman. And I even I was still in the pool at the same time. So but everything, like I knew I was attracted to it, but I don't know, everything was just so smooth. It was I couldn't even turn away from it. Dog. I just had
Hey,
to go.
hey, she done finesse you, huh? She done put that
Yeah,
game on you.
he really did.
I got you.
Yeah.
So I did I did a Facebook Live a while ago about men and women being platonic friends. So based off of your story, do you
Oh
believe
no, I can't. You can't be friends. You can't. You like I've had. It's rare. I can say it's rare. It can happen, but it's very rare. Very
Yeah.
very rare. I've had maybe where I had no intentions, no wants to, no, we just cool, and they would be some attractive looking women. But it was maybe three
Yeah.
in my whole life. Yeah.
Yeah. The crazy thing about that, right? I was telling the person, like, to me, well, for one, I was like, people grow on you. You know what I'm saying? So that's how the lines get crossed because that person grows on you.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I'm a believer in just from observation, the best relationships are relationships where you were friends first, because that's probably something that you'll never lose. It's just that mutual respect for one each other, one another, excuse me. You know what I'm saying? So even if times get tough, y'all will still have that friendship and that
Yeah.
bond to where
Yeah.
you won't, what I'm saying, just blatantly disrespect the other,
Mhm.
unless
And
you,
say that with her, man. We definitely are like best friends. Like like I say, we was friends. So there's no you know there's no shadows in my corner. Everything got light on it. She see everything. She know everything. I told her everything because, like I said, there was no we weren't dating her. So I told her everything. She know everything. So the fact that we can do that, we laugh, we have good time, man. Everything is just raw and, like I said, it's smooth.
I got you. All right, so look, and would you say that most men that you encounter, they're hesitant to try marriage again for the second time?
Oh yeah, man. So I'm a barber, so I I know everybody's secrets and everybody's intentions and motives. So yeah, a lot of men. Let's say I got 200 clients, right? About 160, 170 of them be like, nah, man. Once I'm done, I'm done. I ain't going back to the streets. I mean, I'm going back to the streets, and that's where they gonna stay. They ain't don't plan on coming out.
Hey, hey, I'm gonna tell you a funny story that happened to me. Somebody that we both know, one
uh,
of my partners. He got engaged. So after a while, I was like, "Hey man, when the wedding?" He said, "Wedding? This it?" I said, "What? You just gonna get engaged?" Yeah, I'm finna ride this out long.
yeah.
Like, damn.
So
Like,
he just wasting
golly,
money
man.
on the ring, then.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Yeah,
that's it. You just gonna get engaged. Yep. I'm like,
yeah.
dang, that's
That's
cold.
crazy to me. And what's crazy? Because people put so much stipulation and power into marriage. Like you said earlier, like they'll be together 10, 15 years and get married and don't last a year. I've seen that happen a lot too, which
It,
is that's insane to me.
it happened to Martin Lawrence.
Yeah,
Martin Lawrence was with that woman like 14 years, and they was divorced in like one,
yeah,
maybe two.
yeah,
And I'm like, that's crazy to
yeah.
me, you know?
When nothing should change, nothing should change from you. Honestly, and I tell my wife that, like, from dating to marriage, nothing changed but your name. That's it. Nothing should change but your name. If you start putting too much expectations and putting too much power into that, feeding like, oh, I gotta do this, or you owe me this, or you did that, then you're not really married for the right thing. You married for
Mm.
what comes of marriage, just not, what I'm saying, not respecting the marriage itself.
Man, the funny thing about that, right? I agree with you. I feel like nothing should change.
Mm,
But in my personal opinion, I feel like when a couple gets married, the woman's expects their expectations change.
mm,
So once she becomes a wife, she expects you to do more than what you were doing. Now,
mm,
I think I'm just going my opinion. I feel like men get married because they like where they are at that time. And
mm,
they might want to lock that in. But when you add these little extra expectations, it's like, okay, this ain't working. Like I wanted us to be where we were.
mm. But
And
that comes from conversations. Like if that's your friend, you got to talk. Like we talk about everything. You got to talk about your money because you got to like. I told her before. I said I'm not gonna marry you if I don't trust you with my money because that's where most people put most of their power, most of their intention, most of their time to. So most of their love is attached to that money at first. So if I can't trust you with it in my eyes, I'm not gonna marry because I don't believe in separate bank accounts. I don't believe in doing none of that stuff. Like we get married to be one, not two.
yeah,
So yeah, if we gonna join, we gonna join. We gonna join everything. So my money is her money is my money. And it is what it is. She can say she paid the bills. I can say I paid the bills. I don't care. They get paid at the end of the day.
yeah. So
Mm.
let me ask you this, right? A couple of marital questions, right? Because I've heard this question, and you know, I kind of disagree with it. But in your opinion, how long should it take for a man to decide whether or not he wants to marry a woman?
Ooh, I know we know probably in about 8 months, 6 to 8 months. We know whether we will marry that woman or not. Now, when he decides to pull that trigger is another thing. But he'll know 6 to 8 months in whether she marries material because by that time we done saw everything that we can see. We know your family because when you marry somebody, you marry their family too. So you got to check the mom, check the dad, check the sister because you got to get along, man.
Yeah. is there anything that you want to take from your first marriage and make sure it's still in the second? You know, like I'm sure, of course, it would have to be something good, but you know,
Hmm. Uh, just having I think a good sense of humor goes a long way. A good sense of humor goes a long way, and yeah, I take the sense of humor.
yeah,
We gotta laugh together. We gotta laugh
it's funny you say that because you know I know y'all could be some goofies. You know what I'm saying? At times, you know,
yeah,
serious but can be a little goofy at times. So
yeah,
hey, I get that. That makes perfect sense, right?
yeah.
So if what would you want to make sure you don't take from your first and apply it to your second? Like I don't want this to happen at all in this new marriage.
Uh, just coming from me, just infidelity. Just just keep it real. Just keep it 100. We be fine. So yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't.
Don't be scared of it. We here. We here now.
Hey man, I'm just saying, I don't know what happened. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm just saying.
I pointed at me. It ain't no secret.
Oh, it was you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like it was her. I'm like, oh shoot, you know?
I'll take all that, bro. It is what it is.
Okay. Good. All right. Hey, that's very accountable of you. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Now,
Uh,
with that being said, keep in mind I'm no saint myself, and I
hmm.
get it. But how can you stay away from crossing those lines like that?
Man, don't put yourself near the line to begin with, because that's the only way. Because I mean, honestly, like most of us, that's our nature to want to be with women or like women or whatever. You just got to keep it at keep it at a distance. There's nothing wrong with saying, "Oh, that's an attractive woman." You still got eyes, you still can see, but that's it. You just got to be able to walk away from it because
Okay.
people gonna come at you. Even with this, this is like honey sometimes, and the bees gonna come. You just gotta know when to swat them.
Yeah. Hey, you know, my old lady say it's like a magnet.
Really is. They want to see what another woman got that makes them want to be with that woman. So they definitely want to see what it is.
Yeah, I feel you. Hey, but look, hey, I completely agree, right?
Uh,
You know, I try to tell some of my guys, it's like, look, man, you have to limit your temptation, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? And limit the places that you kind of be in to where you might just find yourself. It might be cycle time and you in the
hmm,
right place and it's like, you know,
yeah, yeah,
and it's like, man, you gotta try to limit your exposure to it,
yeah.
man. That's the best way I can sum it up.
Especially in those times where y'all not getting, because that's when it's the easiest. When you're not getting along, you're not talking, you're having your arguments, and you're like, man, I need some stress relief. I need to go be at peace somewhere else.
Yeah.
And side chicks are known for being peaceful. They don't want to cause no rift, no none of that. So they just gonna chill, let you sit there and talk, take care of you. You go home, like, and then that's be like, okay, I get my peace from over here, and I'm gonna go home. And if I gotta deal with what I gotta deal with, at least I'm good. I'm good now. So
Yeah, yeah.
we gotta remember where you at when you in those times. Just remember that's your best friend. Everybody ain't gonna get along with every day, all day, and take your black ass home.
Hey, at the end of the day, that's how you sum it up. Take your black ass home. Hey, you know what? I agree with you. I agree with you. Like
Mhm.
totally. Like one thing that I always tell people, especially like in a new marriage, I'm like, look, man, don't ever cheat. Cause I'm like, look, ain't no coming back from that. Like,
Mhm.
if you want to, it's easy to go back to it. So like, don't even go down that line because
Yeah,
they never gonna forget it. For one,
yeah.
they never gonna let it go.
Never did.
Don't even do that to yourself.
Yeah,
You know, like, yeah, you know, and
yeah.
then
'Cause that freedom that you had to be able to, like, hey man, I'm about to go hang out with the dudes. I'm about to go play cards. Hey, I'm about to go. kick and I'm about to do all that. Now you about to get even when you ain't doing that, you're gonna get scrutinized. So it ain't man. It's not worth the headache.
Yeah, yeah. So just before we go, right? What would be your best advice to give to a guy who's either unmarried, considering married, or maybe even doesn't even want to get married? What would be your best advice to that person?
Is you can't go through life alone. Life is meant for you to have a partner. Life is meant for you to be with somebody. Just make sure it's that right somebody, and make sure that you're ready to be right for that right somebody. Because you can meet the right person at the wrong time, and it won't work out because you're not ready. So make sure you take them, mature steps to get yourself right. Cut off all. Matter of fact, I would even say, go through 3 or 4 months of just being by yourself. That way, you get all the chicks out your way, all the chicks out your phone, everything, and then get into that new relationship with no overlap. Because a lot of people get into a relationship and they still fooling with other people, and they cutting them off, but they still got some hanging around. And so, I say go about 3 or 4 months, be by yourself, then get into that new relationship. Give yourself time to clear your head.
Right. And not to mention, your parents are tired of being your emergency contact and your beneficiary for everything.
Facts. That's facts.
But look, Zed, hey man, I appreciate you for joining me. I only got a couple minutes, so I'm trying to close it out. But
it's good. I got 2%.
Oh, okay, I got you. But yeah, I appreciate you joining me. Congrats on the new marriage, and I wish y'all the best of luck. Do you have any final words before we sign off?
I love you, Danielle. You're the love of my life. Don't make that face. I had to shout out my baby though. But yeah, man, that's my boo.
Okay. Hey, that's good to see, man. That's good to see. I appreciate you for sharing that with us. But look, hey, until next time, people, we out.
All right.